Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have a historic GIGALEAK that just hit. That's right, gigabytes of files leaked because of a hack that just hit Gamefreak and the Pokémon Company. And we have things like code names for Gen 10, what consoles it will be developed for, which, by the way, includes Switch 2, and further proof that the code name for Switch 2 is Ounce. We have source code for Black and White, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver. There's a ton of different things that are still developing, but gigabytes of files have leaked and have hit the Pokémon Company. We're gonna walk through all of that here because, man, Gamefreak and the Pokémon Company are not happy right now. But if you want to stick around for some spoiler level content, because we are going to find out some details about upcoming projects that they did not want us to know, this is your warning that if you don't want to be spoiled with anything Gamefreak and the Pokémon Company are working on, to click off the video. But if you are still here, we'll dive straight in right after you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification to join Sunbro Nation if you're new here. And we're going to start off right over on the Centro Leaks Twitter account that I will have linked in the description down below, because they are breaking all the info as we're getting it. We may have to make a follow-up video to this because, with, as said, a GIGALEAK, gigabytes of files have leaked from Gamefreak. It's going to take some time to uncover all of the what's being found that's notable, and what implications this has for upcoming games and projects from the Pokemon Company. But right at the top, you have massive Gamefreak leak happening. Gen 10 and new multiplayer Pokemon game developed by Gamefreak. Gaia is codename of Gen 10. He says, oh boy, it's happening. We're going to continue up because we're going from when the leak first happened to where we are at the time that I'm filming. Now, Gamefreak has been hacked. This is a new leak like the GIGALEAK from Nintendo from a few years ago. It has multiple gigabytes of info. It includes source code and beta builds of Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Black and White 2. So I believe I said Black and White in the intro of the video. It's Black and White 2 for clarification. Source code, to spend a quick second on that's going to be major for the ROM hacking community and people who like to modify these type of games. From my understanding, like, you're gonna see how the sausage is made in a Pokemon game. You're gonna see how the RNG is calculated, a full breakdown of the source code of those timeless classics of Pokemon games. So yeah, that's gonna be exciting for people who like to mod and hack and create their own fan-driven projects off of some classic Pokemon games. Continuing on up, Gamefreak GIGALEAK confirms Ounce is the code name of Switch 2. We have heard this previously, and this is not surprising. We've seen a lot of different code names tied to Ounce with the Nintendo Switch 2 specifically. This also is further basically confirmation and clarification that Breath of the Wild, if it's not just the tech demo, it for sure has a working code name where it's UKing-O. O being for Ounce for the next gen console. So we're going to get some kind of 4K up-resed, no load times Breath of the Wild, it looks like, for the Switch 2, which is also crazy. And there was also a confirmation that Banquet was indeed the name for Mario Party Superstars. So all of these codename leaks that we've seen are proving to be legit, and this is further that Ounce is indeed the codename of Switch 2. So that's big news because Pokemon Gaia Gen 10 codename is being developed for Ounce. Now, I believe it's pointed out just a little bit later on here, but essentially, the Gen 10 Pokemon game, it sounds like it's going to be coming to both platforms as we'll continue to scroll through, but it's for sure Switch 2. We're going to get a Switch 2 version of the Gen 10 Pokemon game, which is absolutely huge. And then, now this, I believe, is tied to a codename, which is Synapse. New Pokemon game developed in collaboration with Gamefreak and ILCA. So let's spend a quick second on this. It's a multiplayer battle-focused games. Here are some of the files from the leaks, and they have a bunch of different files listed. But the big thing and the key that we want to pay attention to is Pokemon MMO in development ? Because within these files that are tied to the codename Synapse, there is something called MMO_test. So essentially, if you can imagine it, a massive multiplayer online experience for a Pokemon game. Now, we have seen them kind of inch into this idea with more and more co-op and raid systems and things in recent games. But will Gamefreak just go all the way and truly create an MMO Pokemon game where you see all the other players online? You can walk up to people and just trigger a battle by coming up to their character, or they're riding on their Pokemon, or whatever the case is. That's what this sounds like. It could also lead some credence into the idea that Gamefreak and Pokemon Company and Nintendo had that much more reason to launch this lawsuit against poor Palworld at the end of the day, because yeah, it sounds like, their claim is that there's some kind of game mechanic that the Pokemon Company has a patent for, like it's theirs as far as a gameplay mechanic, and Palworld is infringing on that. Now, whether or not you agree or disagree with it is neither here nor there, but I've heard theories of the idea of, you know, going around throwing a Pokeball and capturing a monster is something that they own on a patent level, which gets really dicey on that kind of stuff, on if that should be a legal thing or not, but it is apparently. So regardless, that much more motivation from the Pokemon Company to, hey, one of our competitors that's now expanding from the PC and Xbox to get a PlayStation version as well. Yeah, let's go ahead and launch a full-blown lawsuit towards them, while knowing that they're working on a little bit more of a similar concept to maybe what the Power World experience is with this codename Synapse, which is claimed to be some kind of MMO, or at least have an MMO component to it. Also, battle-focused multiplayer game. Now, I'm not thinking this is like a Pokken tournament. Like, this is Gamefreak and ILCA developing it in collaboration. So this seems to be like an in-house Pokemon game, and one that will have MMO components potentially, because it does say MMO_test. So we'll have to see how far they get along with that concept. But we're going to, well, let's first, so guys, this is all confirmed info. This is not a rumor. The files include source code and beta builds. It's really happening. Brace yourselves. More is coming. Now we have codename Synapse, new Pokemon game developed in collaboration with Gamefreak and ILCA. It's multiplayer battle focused. Here are some of the files in the leak. And I guess we did actually read through this in the previous one, but one new piece of information. This is being described as a Splatoon-like game. Okay, this is new info to me as I'm reading it. Unclear exactly what they mean by that. So maybe now you're thinking more of a, you're controlling the Pokemon themselves and actually going in a live multiplayer setting online against other people. That's potentially where my mind goes, at least when I hear of a Splatoon-like game that is a Pokemon battle game that has MMO components. So, okay, maybe something different than just your traditional Pokemon MMO that I would have imagined. Pokemon codename Gaia has two versions, version K and version N. Any guesses what could the final name starting with those letters be? And keep in mind that the letters could be from Romanized names. Now, let me know in the comments down below if you have any ideas for that. I'm assuming that these two versions are just the, you know, the two different versions we're going to see, like your Scarlet and Violet. Of course, the Pokemon Company is going to continue to do that. That's not surprising to see. Then we have known leaker Necrophilippe. Claims that Pokemon Gen 10 will be for both Switch 1 and Switch 2. Gen 10 will be for both systems is what he posted. And then a follow-up tweet, we can confirm the leak includes a mention of a Switch 1 version for Pokemon Gaia. So yes, they are at least testing it on Switch 1. Whether they end up releasing it, we'll have to wait and see. So that makes sense. Pokemon Company does not like to leave behind a very successful established Nintendo platform like the Switch when there's 141+ million units of that thing out there. They will probably try to get a version of this working on the Switch, and then we're going to have, of course, visual upgrades and better frame rates, more solid performance on the next gen Switch 2 version. And let me know too if you guys have any guesses on Gaia, because that's definitely an interesting code name. I'm thinking like Gaia the Earth, maybe like a giant map for Pokemon, you know, true open world, you know, like Scarlet and Violet was, where you could go in any direction, but maybe even more open than that. Okay, and then finally, everything we know about Nintendo Switch successor. Okay, this is actually an old tweet that he has pinned, so we're caught up. That's what is basically hit the internet at the time that I am filming this video in terms of known leaks. This is obviously massive, just in terms of the news. So source code stuff's going to lead into a lot of ROM hacks for Black, White 2, and then also for Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And then we have Pokemon Synapse, a Splatoon-like MMO component Pokemon game that's being developed right now. And finally, the biggest one, Gen 10 Gaia, having a ton of new information. We know it's going to be a Switch 1 and Switch 2 game. At least it's being developed for both versions right now, so that could obviously change by time the plans are finalized. Oh, and then lastly, in case if you're worried about a bunch of Legend ZA leaks or anything that's not been officially revealed, apparently the leaker at this point in time has stated that they are not wanting to reveal any additional information about unreleased products. So it seems like they, like their own decision, they don't want to share that with the internet, so they're deciding not to, I guess, disclose a lot of the stuff that could tie into spoilers for ZA and Gen 10. So this might be all we get. There could just be a ton more though, as these gigabytes worth of files that leaked got put on the internet. Apparently the original 4chan a thread that it went up on is completely nuked now. It's offline. But there are, I mean, the internet's the internet. If it goes up there once, people have the files downloaded. They're going to continue to go through them and find new information. So get subscribed for a follow-up video we will most likely make around this situation, as it is evolving at the time of filming this video. So let me know in the comments down below if you're hyped for any of the new code names, new confirmation that the Gen 10 Pokemon game will be on both Switch systems potentially, and what do you think of the idea of a multiplayer online Splatoon-like MMO style Pokemon game, if you can wrap your head around that. So make sure you share all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below before you leave, regardless if we agree or disagree. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, turn your notification bell. And with that, I've been Sunbro, you've been Nation. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.